Welcome to Horsin Around, a dumbass cast. My name is Nicholas Mercadante, and with me I have...
Dylan Jackson, aka Ender, aka that guy who is not an alcoholic. Nice to meet you.
Very brave.
You sure about that one?
We also have...
Sophia or Sofumba or Sofumbus, or also Nick added two Discord accounts of mine, one that I don't use anymore, so there's two of me here.
I didn't
Hello.
know that one was dead. I'm sorry, alright? I don't know when you change accounts spontaneously.
It's still here though.
Okay. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, we have...
Hi, I'm Corey. I don't have any other names besides that, so hi, what's up?
C. Rigby. You have Member of the Year, Corey. That's what you have.
I
Did you
thought
win
Ryan
that?
Connors won that.
I thought you won
No,
that.
no, Nick Mosher won that. But
Pretty sure that was Nick Mosher.
yeah,
Fuck.
Ryan Connors
What?
was the People's Member of the Year.
Oh,
But yeah,
God.
Nick Mosher won.
He wasn't even here in the spring semester. I mean, he's amazing. Don't get me
He's
wrong.
a legend.
But
He is a legend. Everyone I've met in Boston knows him personally from childhood.
Even
It's
people
really
from
creepy.
Virginia. Even
Yeah.
people from Virginia. You wouldn't
Random
believe.
people from around the world know Nick Mosher.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Mhm.
Nick Mosher is going places. That man.
He's
That man's
been-
a legend.
There's no doubt.
Place.
So you guys have supplied a wealth of topics for us to go over this
Thank
evening.
you.
Certainly.
Oh, yeah.
They all are very interesting, but I think we should start with the church topic, asking if it
Oh.
is good for the soul or if it is a brainwashing cult. And I think I'd like to start by saying, why not both? It's probably both.
What?
I think the answer is
Frankie.
probably a little bit of both.
I don't know if that's a
Hold on.
hot take or not. I don't know if it can be considered one. It's a bit confusing.
Dylan, what's your take? You have the strongest what reaction?
Well, because the way I see it is, it must be split between one or the other. You cannot have a brainwashing cult that is good for the soul, because brainwashing has the connotation of bad. I don't know if there's a good brainwashing
Well,
out there.
I mean, there's that saying of like ignorance is bliss, right? So maybe
Yeah.
in a way that is good for the soul to be also. You just muted yourself. Oh, now you're on mute. Okay.
Yeah.
You're ignorance is bliss, so that could be good for the soul while being brainwashed. Sometimes, I think the main thing with religion is basically, we don't know what happens to us after we die, and so for millennia we've just been like, fuck dude, I don't want to think about that, so let's just say there's some dude in a white robe up past the clouds that
Oh,
is just
so there's
chilling.
only Christianity, is what you're saying?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Nick.
yeah,
Only religion?
basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not gonna talk.
That's
Look,
Nick's stance.
I am not going to ignorantly talk about religion.
My stance is that it's just the robe. It's just the robe watching you, just sitting there.
Only a robe.
No dude, just a robe.
Yeah, no dude, and the robe isn't like sentient. It's just there.
It's just
And you
chill.
can't,
You just
like,
float
get
out.
out.
You float out to the edge of the universe, and there's just a robe floating out there.
yeah,
That's
it's
what's
just
on the
watching
edge.
you, and you
Yeah.
watch it, and that's the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
That's fun.
the
Well, the
robe.
argument with the brainwashing cult, I think, kind of stems from most religions have that common theme of there's something that is in control of everything, and you have to just kind of let it do its thing. You have to worship some other thing, thank some other thing whenever something goes right or wrong in your life, and you don't have entire control of yourself.
Right.
So I think that's where the brainwashing comes in, making people think that, oh, I can't do anything on my own. I have to ask other people, some other being for assistance in my life. That's where the brainwashing
Everything
comes
is in their hands.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I think that's like a part of it. Or if you really want to lean into just relying on the religion, then it can turn into that. But I also think that like a lot of modern religions are shying away from that philosophy, at least in my opinion. I don't know.
Go for it.
Everybody, I mean, a lot of
Bit
people
more
are
into-
just ditching religion altogether, which is like
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
But like, there's been, what did they call it? It. There was a discussion that I was reading about recently, or not recently, but at some point in the last couple of years, that was basically saying that now that more people are becoming agnostic, there's like it's a vague correlation. I don't think it was like super, fucking researched or whatever, so it could be all bullshit, but that there's just a lot more general like worry about, having to find a solution for everything or whatever, because you can't just put your, you can't back it with just being like, oh well, God's handling this shit, because
I think that's a pretty good thing to take blame and responsibility for the world in general. Like,
But I
feel like
mean,
it's a cop out to just be like, but God though.
Yeah, no, I think for most things it's a positive thing, but I guess what I'm focusing on in particular is the stuff that we literally cannot answer, like what happens to our consciousness after or not our consciousness, but I guess like if you believe in it, like your soul after you die, because we will never know that. That's just not possible to know about.
I think that each one of us gets reincarnated as one of the cats in the new movie musical Cats.
What the heck?
Oh boy. Well,
I just watched fucking...
Time to discover immortality.
Tag yourself.
I don't want to tag myself as any of those monstrosities.
Look, Nicholas, I watched the original like movie Broadway whatever recording back when I was a kiddo, and they look pretty freaking cool, man. I'm not saying I'm a furry, but
Oh, so you're a furry.
No, I just like cats. I just like Cats the musical.
Oh, okay, so you're just a very specific type of...
Well, I never was into warriors or anything like that, so like I'm not, clearly. I will admit, when I was like in middle school, I tried to become a furry. I was like, making a persona seems fun, right? And then, because I was like, everyone's nice, right? But then I couldn't get into
the furry trials.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. It wasn't me.
You gotta go to the furry council and present your OC, and they'll be like, yeah, you're a furry, or no.
I just wasn't vibing with the OC I never came up with,
Well,
anyways, that's my reincarnation theory.
When you say that you tried to become a furry, what that immediately makes me think of is, oh, I tried fucking a cat just to see how it was.
Why? Okay,
that's not what they are, Dylan.
All right,
Dylan, why would you do this?
Look, I don't want to be defending furries right now, but hashtag not all furries want to fuck animals. That's not how it works.
Also, the whole idea is like anthropomorphic, so like humanized animals, which is still like weird, especially if they want to bang them. But like, look, whatever.
Well, if you put clothes on your cat, I don't think it makes it.
That's not the same thing, Dylan. Dylan, you're not educated.
You're not educated on the furry culture, alright?
He is not.
Yeah, the furry council would reject
Anthropomorphize means they have human features too, Dylan.
Okay,
like
I will be completely honest.
Almost any mammal has human features, like...
Yes.
Oh, don't
hard.
start me on this, Corumbus.
What? Is this
Okay,
is
first
this
of all,
recurring conversation with you guys?
Hold up.
Columbus.
I've been called a lot. Columbus ain't one of them.
Hey,
And
there
third
you go.
of all,
You got a
why
new
would
name
getting
now.
you started on
Yeah, that's what you start the
features of
podcast
cats be a
with now.
problem, Sophia?
Are you
Why
saying
would it?
cats look like people?
No, I'm
in
saying
the
they have
new hit
mammalian
musical movie,
traits.
Cats, they do.
Those are anthropomorphized, though.
Yeah, that's what.
They don't look like regular cats. Though.
I'm
You
not saying
cannot
cats
say
look
that.
like humans. I'm saying they're mammals. I'm saying they have mammalian traits. Like they don't
Agree,
lay eggs and shit.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't address scalies though, which is a whole other breed of furries.
Oh,
that is
boy.
all
Oh,
about-
yeah, I don't know.
Fucking reptiles?
Yeah.
Once you want to stick your dick in a shark, I'm a little scared.
Dude,
Right.
we haven't even gotten to the subject of people who kin. Kinning is a whole
that?
different world.
Oh yeah, you
Whoa.
wanna like fuck the galaxy and stuff?
No,
or that you are the
kin-
galaxy sometimes?
No, Corey. Do you know? Okay, let me explain what a kin is. I've been surrounded by so many of them lately, and it's a very odd experience because they all think
Wait,
I'm one of
lately,
them.
is that like at Miter
They
or
all
some
think
shit?
I'm a
Lately,
kinner,
yes.
and I'm like, I'm
What?
not a kinner.
Oh my god,
okay.
is Philip...
Is
No, not at work. Okay, let me explain what kinning is. Okay, so kinning is like, there are different interpretations, but basically you got like a fictional character that you're like, oh my god, I love what's a really like, oh, okay, I love Sans Undertale so much, and I relate to him. I see myself in Sans Undertale. I am Sans Undertale.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
kin
wow.
Sans
Like
Undertale. I no
Why
other,
are you saying
no
it like
doubles,
that?
no doubles. I'm the only Sans Undertale.
It's
That's
just
what
Sans.
kinning is.
Yeah.
Are there
That's an
sans
Undertale.
pronouns? Is
No,
that-
it's not
No,
pronouns. It's
it's-
just your like self. You're just like,
You.
I feel like I am this character, and they have like a list of
Okay.
kins usually. And ever since, so it's really big in certain communities and like fandoms. And ever since like we got into the Danganronpa fandom again, that fandom is heavy with people who kin. And just because I cosplay as one of the characters and like that character a lot, people like, so like her name is Sonia or whatever, and one other character in the series refers to her as Miss Sonia. And now all these 13-year-olds on Instagram are calling me Miss Sonia, and I'm like, one of them messaged me out of nowhere and was like, "Do you kin?" And I'm like, No.
Bro, you want to start a kin RP real quick?
They get possessive because she's a Sonia kin. So she was like, I think, scoping me out and being like, does this girl kin
my-
Sonia as well? And I'm like, I don't
my
kin. I just like her. I just think
So
she's
it's like
cool.
territorial.
buddy.
It's
section,
really
and you're
territorial.
like,
People
no
get,
one
like,
else
death
could be
threats.
Sonia here.
Yeah,
You're
people
kidding
get death
me.
threats literally.
I
I am the
remember-
lord of being Sans in the northeastern United States.
Yes.
I just remember there being a fucking shitpost where somebody was just like, it's my turn on the kin. Like, people just
So
take
good.
turns kidding a character. That'd be
Like if
fucking
people like are
hilarious.
like not super possessive and mean and weird about it, like live your life, but also I'm just kind of like, but what? Just say you like relate to the character or you like the character. Like that's the same
Yeah.
thing, but not like as intense.
Yeah.
And not,
I don't know, man.
death threats over
Yeah.
Well,
being
yeah, it's
Sans
kinda
Undertale.
like- Yeah, what that seems like is that person either does not have a strong enough sense of self that they would have to adopt some other personality in order to feel like a person.
Well,
I don't know.
often they say it's because they're coping from like mental illness or something like that, which I like. I don't know. It
Like-
still is like
Sure,
you know.
but explanation is not an excuse. You know, that it comes back to that.
I know,
Yeah,
and
it's
not
like- it's
everyone's
fine
an
if you wanna-
asshole
it's fine if
about
you
it,
wanna
but like people get very intense.
Yeah.
Character. But yeah, if you're making
Yeah.
death threats to someone, that's not an excuse.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have seen.
Don't
that.
don't make death threats to Sophia. Just don't.
No,
Don't
I
do
haven't
that,
Yeah,
right?
received the death threats. It's
It's
okay.
not okay.
Not
She's not,
yet.
she's
They
not
weren't openly
popular
aggressive
Not yet.
yet.
But,
Corey,
She's
I'm
getting
giving
there.
death threats.
If I openly kinned, maybe. If I were like, I'm a kinner, guys, who knows?
He's a closet
It
Kenner.
sounds- it sounds so-
Closet Kenner.
Sophia, who
Or
would you
like-
kin?
What?
Who would you kin?
We'll
If you
give you
were gonna
all
kin
five.
somebody out there, who would you kin?
Oh my god, I have like so many that I would kin, but I just think they're cool characters, you know? I'm not gonna be like, I am Sonia.
Everyone is
Definitely.
Sans Undertale.
I am Sans Undertale. No, I would be more of a Papyrus than Sans, but whatever. I don't understand why
What?
Papyrus is so underrated. Anyways,
Because
that's just
Well,
Sophia.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Does
Papyrus doesn't have the epic,
a final boss fight?
epic boss fight. at
Papyrus
the end
has
of
the
the game.
date though. You go on a date with him.
Right, but
Well-
he doesn't have the epic music.
But you
Yeah,
go on a
or the
date
boss fight.
together, and he's nice.
Well, yeah. So you value like I don't know the story more, like actually dating
The
and all that.
story. Imagine that.
Just
Me,
like getting hit with a bunch of bones by Sans Undertale.
That's the story that I wrote. The Lavinia. It's Lavinia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
Charles.
that I devour.
What are
Yeah.
you talking
Charles.
about?
It's a game I made. Nick, you didn't
Come
play
on, Murky,
it.
you
They
haven't
all
played
did,
the
though.
classic?
You
You-
haven't.
oh.
I'm sorry.
You
I'm just
fake
trying to make
fan.
sure our audience stays in tune with what the hell we're talking about.
Okay, there's a subreddit for it.
Could do is
There's
go
a
to whatever
subreddit
this
for-
website
you made
is.
a game and there's a subreddit
Yeah.
for it?
There's all
I'm
four
a
members.
moderator. Yep, I moderate the 0 posts that are there.
Mm-mm.
Hey man, when that first post comes, you're gonna be
There are
ready
2
for it.
posts. 2.
Oh, that's right. There are 2 posts. They're debating like Lavinia's existence or something.
Anyways,
okay, so
let's get
who-
back
who
to
is
the
Lavinia?
church,
The
right?
subreddit.
Do we want to? Okay, whatever. Sure.
Sure, okay. So, I guess what I want to say is that, like, at least this is just gonna be me barfing out what I feel on the topic for a bit, but, like, for me,
I'm
I
prepared.
guess I was raised Catholic, TM, got through
Mhm.
confirmation, and then my parents were just like, okay, we got you through all the basic shit, so you could probably get into heaven, so now you can just fuck off, we aren't gonna force you to go to church anymore, and I was just like, cool. And then I stopped going to
Same.
church because I fucking hated doing that
Mm.
every Sunday.
Yeah.
But I still think I believe in God just because I am definitely 100% terrified of what comes after death, and like I just don't want to have to I don't want to have to constantly think about the idea that there's just nothing, like after I die I just disappear. And I don't know, I had a really interesting conversation with Sam Yeager and Owen Sullivan. Who's
Yep.
chairman? Is Sully
Oh,
chairman?
that's Miller.
Miller. Sorry, yeah, Miller. I always get them mixed up. They were both in the same room, and it was like a year after I knew them, like got to know them, and I just fucking went in on the wrong names, and it just was a bad time.
Nice.
Oh boy.
But he was basically saying, just try to imagine what it was like, before you were born. Imagine yourself in that state before you were born. And he's just like, yeah, you can't, because you just don't exist before that point, and that's the same thing after you die. which is just like, that's an interesting thing to think about, but also, I don't know, my brain is still can't process it, I guess, and I don't know if it ever will be able to, so, and then as far as...
I think I'm all right with the fact that like you just don't exist after you die. Like you got this life and then it's over.
Yeah.
You are gone. Like that's fine, honestly.
Yeah.
But what about my
Like, we're here.
anime?
Yeah, what about my
What?
friends and family that will also die, I guess? But that means they're
Yeah.
also just leave this plane of existence. I don't know. I like...
It's
God,
rather morose.
my first day of work before, like, for the summer job, I just laid in bed for like half an hour just having an existential crisis that I haven't had in like years about this whole
Jesus.
thing, and I was just like, why is this happening right now? I need to go to sleep so I can wake up for work tomorrow.
Oh God.
I literally
Nicholas.
cannot do anything about this.
Oh no.
Existential crises are always at the most inconvenient times.
They really are.
Truly.
It's just not
Yeah.
good. But to go back to the control point, I sort of rationalize like my belief, I guess, with just the idea that most of what people spout from the Bible was just bullshit, and it basically just was, in my head, it was like God basically snapped his fingers, universe came into being, and then he was just like, alright, y'all just fucking do whatever for millennia, and then Earth happened, and he was just like, oh, cool, some fucking fish are crawling out of the water, that's neat. And then when humans came around, they started fucking having, you know, higher level thinking or whatever you want to call it. He's just like, oh, this is pretty neat, huh? And then they all started killing each other, and he's just like, huh, maybe that's not so neat anymore.
Not convenient.
And then he's just like,
Sorry,
know,
JP.
you know, maybe we'll just maybe I'll just send down this one like incarnation of me, and he'll just chill out for a while and like try to teach him some stuff, and then I'll just leave them alone after that. And then he did that, and then the son died, and it was just like, all right, here, you guys have the Holy Spirit now, so you guys can just make your own decisions. I'm not going to control you. Or actually, I guess to refine on the theory, it was like he experimented with controlling our fates between when humans started existing and Jesus, and then after Jesus, because that's when TM, the Holy Spirit, was imbued upon people to give them like free will or whatever.
Yep.
Then he's just like, all right, you've seen my one and only son. He's said all his bullshit. He died for your sins. Now do what you guys want to do. I'm gonna peace out. And then from any point after that, any experiences where people like talk to God or whatever, I don't believe it. It's just that point is just the end point, and everything else has just been completely up to people's discretion and the winds of chance, I guess, cosmic chance or whatever. But that's just
a very
my
interesting
onion.
viewpoint on that.
Yeah,
That's
I think that's a lot better than some viewpoints,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which are very much
most
like,
people,
oh, God is controlling every will is real. It's like, nah, you can't have both. That's not how it works.
yeah.
I definitely agree that like a lot of people lean more into the God will guide you over time thing, just
Sure.
because if they're in, I think it's more likely if they're in scenarios where they feel like helpless or they feel like they have a lack of control over their life, so they're kind of letting Jesus take the wheel. TM.
Yeah,
Right.
it's convenient.
And so yeah, and that could, you know, that can become a slippery slope for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just different for every person that interacts with religion.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
I haven't really heard, in a while, a rather complete synopsis of this is what I think my religion meant a while ago, why it happened, and now what it means to myself today. And I kind of like your perspective on that, because I had a similar upbringing, right? I was raised in a Catholic household, went through confirmation, and my family said, all right, whatever. It's kind of reflective of what you see as happening with, for example, Christianity, all that guidance in the beginning, and then after a point saying, okay, do whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Because I definitely vibe with you guys being like, having predetermined fate is kind of fucked up. Like, I don't want to think about not having any control over my life, because that's just like, then why even
does that
bother
matter?
trying to do anything, you know? What's the point? If God has already predetermined what you're going to do, then it's just going to happen. you know?
Right, but it's still experiences that you're going to have. Like, sure, if someone came and told me today everything that is going to happen to you has already been determined that it will happen, I would say, okay, that's fine. That's the exact same thing as
I'm
telling me
having
that you have
fun
an
though.
infinite. Yeah, it's the exact same thing as telling me you have an infinite number of futures because I'm only ever going to experience one. So I may have already been determined for me. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. This is definitely into that existential territory where you're right, but also I don't know. It freaks me out, and I
Yeah.
can't really explain why it freaks me out. It just does.
Sure.
Oh no, Corey.
It's like the control ending of Mass Effect where Shepard just becomes God. Oh, Corey left. Why did he
Yeah.
die?
His blue screen.
Well, we'll see if he comes back in 5 minutes, and if not, we'll take a little intermission. But
Okay.
it's basically like the fucking blue ending in Mass Effect where Shepard just becomes God, basically, and he's just like,
I didn't know
I've
that
got
happened
this.
in Mass Effect. Maybe I should finish it. Whoops.
oh
Never
right,
played
you
it.
didn't
Oh, I
finish
don't
that.
care about spoilers. It's been out for years.
Yeah, it's been you're a decade late, but it's
Yeah, I really don't care about the spoilers for it. I was just like, whoa, I had no idea that happened, and that's kind of cool and makes you a little more interested.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello. He's back. He's back.
Hello.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
I was not even at my keyboard, and it just died.
Nice.
Nice.
Impressive. Truly skillful.
Very.
What the hell? But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of thought to go into it, but so do you guys believe, like, going to that idea of, infinite possible futures, do you think that do you guys believe in, I guess, multiverse theory, and that there's just an infinite number of universes, and so every one of those possible futures happens in some universe? Or
Well, it doesn't matter because you only experience one. There may as well be infinite number of universes. There may very well just be one. It doesn't really matter because we'll only ever experience one.
yeah, but
Well, it
Dylan,
may
nothing
matter
matters
to
at that
everybody.
point. Like, I guess it just comes. Yeah, at the end of the day, we can go full nihilist and say nothing matters. I guess I would say that I'd like to have the thought that I could choose which of the futures I get to experience by choosing my actions as I go along in life.
Just like Telltale games.
Yeah, exactly. It's a choose your own adventure game, but in real life. It's a real gamer moment, but IRL. It's like
Yeah.
r/.
No, I
so
got
long
you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long as there's the illusion of choice, then it's
Just
it's
like
whatever.
a Telltale game.
Oh
God.
my god.
Yeah,
if
you're
you
right.
had-
You're
if
right.
you
It
had
is an
just
illusion of choice
one-
in Telltale games.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah. If you had just one future,
Mhm.
you go through your life choosing things, but it was already determined for you. Whatever. You had the illusion that you chose. Let's
Yeah.
say there's any number of universes. You go through your life choosing which universes you flip back and forth between. Okay, you still lived a life, you still felt like you chose, and you still lived a full life. I don't really see what the issue is with saying whether or not there's one or there's multiple, and coming to the conclusion that there needs to be choice because you still feel like you chose.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's we're at a certain point, our brains can only comprehend so much. So probably some higher plane of beings or a god, if there is one, would understand better TM. But yeah, so after a certain point, you're right. It doesn't matter if it is the illusion of choice or real choice because we wouldn't know the difference.
Mhm.
I think for me, I just can't imagine what the other outcomes would be because it's so well, this is my life though. What else could have happened? I'm sure so many billions of other things, but I'm kind of just I don't know, how else would it go?
Yeah.
You know?
Eh.
Mhm.
I don't think my Telltale game would be very well received. It'd be probably decent. It's not anything exciting, I guess, is what I'd say, and I guess that's the case for most.
I would
people
play
out
your
there.
Telltale game, Nick.
Why? Thank you, Sophia.
You're
Nick
welcome.
Mercadante. What would be
Yeah.
the stylized title? You can't just have your name, right? It's got to have some tagline, like Nick Mercadante. Something.
Nothing matters.
It would just be called The Walking. It'd just be called, instead of The Walking Dead, it's just The Walking.
That's everyone's game
Yeah,
title.
exactly. Everybody just walks a
walking
bunch.
places.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Murky, to speak to your point of, what's the point in believing in any of this, right? Well, the whole point that a lot of people say where religion came from was just to explain things that we couldn't understand. In this case where we cannot fathom what multiple universes, no universes or only one, what that would look like. That's why people come up with religion to cope with it. You kind of surrender and say, I have no idea what is going on or what could be going on.
Yeah.
So we're just going to make something up, or rather believe in something else that has control over this instead of us. It's just easier that way.
Yeah, and I guess to loop back to the original point of this discussion, which is, are they a cult? The cultishness really comes in when there is a human hierarchy that is ordaining the rules and the doctrines of this organization that is supposed to represent a connection between yourself and a higher
People are
being.
always corrupt, and when you give people the power over other people's conception of their own existence, like, that's a lot, man. You can control people by just saying, like, oh, well, if you don't follow me, then I can literally condemn you to an eternity of torture.
Yeah.
Except I never even do it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. In comes the Catholic
really
Church being like, all these pretty little Catholic boys, you guys want to heaven, right?
You got any tithes?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, Catholic Church is kind of cursed. Not gonna lie. But...
Well, yeah, Corey, your point of, people telling other people how they should live their lives, especially in respect to religion, is really just messed up because, as we were talking about before, the whole point of religion is to kind of interpret the world in a way that makes it more suitable for you to understand, more comfortable for you to understand. So, for someone to come in and say, you're wrong, the way you think, that's incorrect, that is the worst thing you can do. No matter what walk of life you're telling someone that, and whether it be religion or anything else, that is, you just should not do that. The way people see the world is how they see it. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's silly to have things that, like, religions will stop because they're against it, and obviously stuff like, don't murder, that's less religion and more morality, and but if there's anything that maximizes your personal happiness without harming other people, religions forbade stuff like that, and that's usually a bad thing because it's just commanding for commanding's sake.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just saying, oh, you better not jack off or God will punch you in the face. Like, what?
He punched me.
What do you mean?
What?
He punched me in the back alleys behind a 7-Eleven.
You guys haven't been punched in the face by God?
You're gonna wake up the next morning in a puddle of your own blood and some vodka, and you're gonna be like, what happened? Oh shit, I think I got beat up by God.
Yeah,
By God.
Dude, that's a fucking great story time episode. Just put that up on YouTube, get 1 million views.
God
Easy.
punched me in the face.
The second coming of Jesus happened, and all he did was punch me behind a Taco Bell and disappear.
Oh my God.
Jesus is ripped, and he wrecked my face. Story time.
And he fucked my mom.
No, oh my God.
No.
Jesus is
Mary
a
was a
bull, and he
virgin.
cucked my dad. Story time.
No.
That would be
Oh my
powerful.
God.
That is
Jesus
certainly a way to
Christ.
show dominance.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, he's here. He stole my car.
Oh, Jesus Christ is coming, all right.
Oh no.
Oh,
This
God.
is so bad. It's turning into like a porno, but with God.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty great
Yeah, we got
porno.
from Taco Bell philosophy to just God's porno.
That's the way it's
God.
gotta be.
Jesus. Okay. Shall we
Yeah.
move on to another topic? I don't know.
Sure,
What-
there's a
God
ton
filled porno.
we've got to cover here.
How long? Like, is this like an hour long? What is this?
Yeah, it's usually like about an hour, but we also started like 15 minutes late.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
I guess just to sort of kind of keep a flow going. You also asked, why do people say bless you? And so there is like an actual historical context to that I kind of know
Exactly.
about. Which is basically during the
Sneeze
plague, the church had so many people coming to it to be like, hey, can you bless me so I don't die of the plague, Mr. Pope? That the church basically sent out a statement, and it was just like, hi, we literally cannot receive all of you, so you guys all have the right to just bless each other now. Please stop flooding our church with your diseased bodies so that all the church people get infected. Would really appreciate that.
Was
Thanks,
that ever
bye.
taken back?
No.
So
I mean, the fact that we
we
still
all
do
have
it
the
today.
power to do blessings, which means that priests and churches in general are now worthless because we all have the power of the Pope in our hands,
I mean,
right? We can just
yeah,
be like,
that's-
"Oh, bless you, you're going to heaven." Good.
Corey,
Sick.
I'd love to tell you about a little thing called the Protestant Reformation, which kind of already said that.
Get fucked, son.
Martin Luther's a coming.
Yeah, dude. Yo, he came.
We're gonna
with
cause the
95 points.
defenestration of Prague.
Yeah.
Also, can I
My
just
favorite
say
historical
something
event.
though?
No, but go
Like,
on.
okay, I'm saying it. Fuck you.
Okay.
I don't care about like the context or like the word like bless you, but when people don't say it after someone sneezes, I get very not like
Okay.
openly angry, but in
Sophia.
my mind I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life.
That's
Exactly.
the Telltale game. You don't
That-
compliment
hold on.
Sophia's sneeze, and she's like, "Oh, I'll remember that."
Sophia,
Yeah.
you'll remember
No,
this.
that,
3
yeah,
chapters
Sophia.
later, you're falling into a ravine, and she doesn't save you.
That is exactly the point that I wanted to address with this, because people, as Sophia has said, people will get angry when you don't bless them after sneezing. But
Well, I don't
there's
say
no
it to them,
point.
but in my heart,
Oh, sure.
I'm just like, that's like rude. You just like, there's some things you just like do that
Well,
aren't
why-
harmful to anyone, and just like, just do it.
But why is it rude? Why do we have to do it?
Because when people do it, like,
Dylan,
it's a general, yeah,
we live in a society, okay?
Yeah.
And so in the society, we bless each other after sneezing. That's just
and
that's-
generally there's like a correlation between people who don't say it and people who are just like rude in general, and I hate it. I hate when people are rude. I'm
So,
just like, stop it. Just be
let's-
polite, please.
Let's just,
But why
let's just
is it
take it back a
polite?
step because like it's
Okay.
not it's not an absolute correlation, right? It is. I would say there is probably
No,
some
it is
correlation.
100%. I've done a scientific study, Nicholas.
Oh, I see. Okay, I forgot
I'd
about
like
your
to
PhD
peer review
paper.
your results there. I'm
Pointing
not
at
so
her
sure.
notebook.
Are they published?
Yeah,
Published
Oh,
in her
sick.
heart,
What journal?
yeah,
the journal of her heart.
yeah.
Where she
Well,
does
yeah,
all
Pretty
this.
See,
scientific, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of the thing that I wanted to bring to light with this question, right? If people say that it's rude not to say bless you, and then when people say, oh, well, why is it polite to say bless you? People
Then just say
oh,
like
well,
Gesundheit or something. I don't know.
Well, no. It doesn't
Whatever
matter
they wanna
what you
on
say.
this.
The question here is why? What is the point?
Why
Why do
not?
people say
It's
it?
fun.
It's fun to say bless you.
You're like
okay, but,
having
like,
this power.
I would
If
say
you can say anything, like, because you can say bless you or gesundheit, and one of those is just gibberish. I know it's not, but
It's
like,
German.
It's
I know
literally a
it's
language
German. I
that
know
is
it's
well
German, but it
defined.
sounds like gibberish. But that means you could just say anything. Like someone sneezes, Sophia sneezes, right? And I just go, cool. Like, is that
I would be
good
like-
or bad?
I would laugh my fucking ass off. That would be great.
But is that a compliment or an insult or neither? Like, what is it?
I mean,
You just
the
said cool.
the general tidings behind saying bless you is generally being like, oh, I recognize that you may possibly be ill due to this indicator that of sneezing.
Yeah.
That commonly means, oh, this person is, probably ill. So I will say in response, just as like a general nicety, to be like, hey, I hope that, you get better soon, that you don't
Yeah.
stay sick for long. That's the whole
Do
idea.
you-
That's
behind
quite a
Sure,
sentence every time
do you
someone sneezes,
consciously
man.
exactly? Do you consciously think that whenever someone sneezes?
No,
Do you
because
say-
again, we live in a society, but that's where it comes from. Like that is the origin of it. So that's the root
Yes.
of what you're trying to get at.
Oh, 100%. Yes, there once was a very valid reason for why people said bless you all the time whenever people would sneeze. But I'm getting at why today do we continue to say it besides that's what people do? Because there
I think
seems
we're
to be no other
heralding
reason.
the coming of a second plague. I think that's what's going on.
I think so too, because the rats are really in right now and they're like
Oh,
trending.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
Not
Rats
as
come on.
trending as the cats, though. The cats are trending a little bit more right now.
Yeah,
but the rats are
cats
more
are just a secret
consistent.
government conspiracy to try and deal with the rats, but it's not
Yeah.
going to work because Ratatouille is going to be way better than this shit. Like,
Yeah, ratatouille, more like ratatouille.
Wow, are you shitting on Ratatouille right now?
yeah, I thought we
What?
were complimenting it.
And no, it's okay.
Is this
I
when
mean,
I
it's a
say
little
bless you?
overrated, but that's not what I meant.
What? Dude, you get to
Wow.
see all
It's
this
no
nice...
flushed away.
No,
It's no
Ratatouille-
flushed away.
Wait a
yeah, I guess
fucking
you're
minute.
right. I guess it can't match
Thank you,
the-
Nick.
No, that
You
is
are-
a masterpiece. That
You would be objectively correct in saying it is no flushed away because it isn't. But I'm not
it's
sure it's
better.
comparable.
What?
No, it is 100% better. We're gonna put that
Flushed
out
away
there
is
right now.
amazing.
Okay.
Wait,
It's
is
up
Flushed
there
Away a
with-
movie?
The only
Yes.
other.
It's the one about the rats
What?
that get flushed down a toilet.
Yeah.
I've never
it's a-
heard of this.
Oh my god,
It's
great.
so
Where was it
good.
published? In like Korea or
No,
something?
no, it came out in
in
America.
a box office
I
failure.
saw it
Does
in
that count?
theaters.
Yeah, no,
In
shut up. It
theaters?
wasn't a box office
What
failure in my
theaters?
heart, Corey.
I watched a video on this earlier, man. I was watching a video about all
I
like
got
DreamWorks
flushed away
video-
toys from
movies
McDonald's.
that failed, and like, whoa.
Look,
Why
there-
did the McDonald's employees flush you away? That's
They-
kind of rude.
What?
hmm,
Did I miss something?
just a little bit. No,
She
there's
said
only
she got flushed away from McDonald's.
No.
like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's only 3 movies that actually exist, and those are Flushed Away, Robots 2005, and
That's good.
shit. What's the last one?
Oh, psh.
Shit.
Big
no,
fan.
my meme is ruined. What did I
You would
how
think
did I
it's
forget the
easy
last one?
when there are only 3 movies.
Yeah,
Surely
I know.
there are more
I
than
can't
3.
believe I'm forgetting
if you
the
can't remember.
third of 3 movies.
The
I
B
just
movie, definitely.
terrible at tracking it. But
The
Robots
Room.
and Flushed Away are very top tier.
Right.
Did I tell you I had a nightmare about the B movie once? I've
No.
never seen it.
Oh wait, I feel like you said this.
So you had a nightmare about what the B movie could be.
Well, that's the thing. It was the nightmare was that the B movie 2 was coming out, and I was watching the trailer. And
Ooh.
the trailer was just a full hour of long pan shots over an animated city with Jerry Seinfeld laughing menacingly with an echo. That was the
Buddy,
whole trailer.
You were talking to God. That was
I
God.
was in hell, man. I was in that dream for so long, just sitting there, scared out of my mind. Jerry Seinfeld echoing through my brain, like, ugh.
You
Oh
are
my
fucked,
God.
man. There's
You're
something
fucked,
wrong with
Corey.
your
There was
thought
nothing
out
about
there.
bees in it. I just knew it was the bee movie too.
You just woke up in a cold sweat. You're just like,
Oh my
I
Bee
was
god.
like, ah,
movie.
shit.
Well, you know,
It's
since
back.
we're on the topic of bees,
mhm.
how
Oh,
many
yeah.
bees
What is
in
this question?
bees is okay?
Oh yeah, this
The
one was mine,
question-
wasn't it?
the
How many?
question-
What's
the
the correct
question
number of
is
vowels for
specifically
E in
How
bee?
Exactly.
yeah? How many E's in
Yeah.
bees is okay? What does that mean,
Oh,
Corey?
this one.
Okay, so it's basically just when you want to scientifically talk about bees, right? You put like BEES, right? Bees.
Yes.
But in a lot of cases, you'll see it everywhere in pop culture, like bees spelled with like 6 E's, and like I think it's pretty funny. I think it's a good trend. But like, how many is too many? What's the optimal number?
So I'd say the optimal number is 3 because it's just enough for someone to think you just misspelled it. You know?
And you want them
But I
to
don't know.
think
Do you
that you
want
misspelled
people
Is
to
that
it?
what
think you
Yeah.
misspelled it? I'd rather have people know that I'm purposefully adding E's. To
Yeah.
my
No, but then you
E's.
like confuse them and they're like, wait, why are you? Is this the meme? Or are
Wouldn't
you
it-
just like stupid?
Wouldn't
That's
it be
true.
more?
I feel like-
But isn't it more confusing then if you type one extra and then they're like, wait, did they
Yeah.
misspell it or did they do that on purpose?
Yeah.
That's the
I feel
point.
like if you want to confuse, that's perfect. But if you want to make the meme, like you know, you gotta. Put
I
more.
thought we were just.
Yeah.
I'm
It
just saying
depends
for
on the
fun, man.
intent.
You know?
You're just in it for the laugh,
Yeah, I
for the
mean, that's
goof.
certainly the optimal case for confusion.
Perhaps.
Yeah. That's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Well,
That's
you know, at
fair.
RIT, we see any number of variations in the number of bees and the word bees
Bees.
all throughout the
God.
campus.
Oh right, there's a whole thing
Yeah.
on campus where people just like use chalk or whatever to draw where are the bees all over the bricks all over our campus, and
They're not here. That's
They-
for sure.
yeah, they're not
They're
around.
not here.
nobody they
Yeah.
keep asking the question, so clearly they've never found the bees.
Oh,
Aw.
Which is
wait.
surprising because
hold
I've
on.
been stung by bees on campus. Like they could just stand still for a little bit, put some like sugar on their skin, wait a few
Aw.
seconds, bam.
Corey, what were you doing to get yourself stung by a bee? I don't think that's
Standing-
very easy.
Standing in a quad, man. It's summer.
Yeah, but like, I've had bees like fly around me a bunch throughout my life, and they've never stung me as far as I can remember.
You've never been stung by a bee?
Like
I've
I,
never been stung either.
I think
get
I
stung all
was
the time.
apparently I was stung when I was like 3 years old, but I don't remember it. So outside
Dude,
of that experience, I've never been
walked
stung.
into a wasp nest. Like I have been swarmed by
You
wasps.
fool.
That sounds
It's
Mr.
bad.
Bee
Don't do it.
expert.
yeah.
It's very bad. Don't do it. Don't step on a
Jerry-
yellow jacket nest. They're in the ground.
Jerry
That's what's
Seinfeld
terrifying.
was contacting you that night telepathically to
He was.
get
He
you
was
signed
warning
on
me.
to his new bee religion because you are so in touch with them.
Yeah, I really
what that
summon
was.
them, you know? That's why I get stung so much. It's because they see me, they're like, my god, it's the next disciple of Jerry Seinfeld's The Bee
And
Movie
they
2.
literally die for you because they sting you
Yeah.
and then their stinger rips out their insides and they die.
Yeah.
So
Or in my case, it's usually wasps. So then they just go on to distribute
Oh.
more hate and suffering.
Yeah. That's a little bit more unfortunate. But
Yeah, fuck wasps.
it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, how many E's or B's? I mean, I guess it's how much of a fucking annoyance you want to be to your group chat when you send it. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
The word is defined in the dictionary with 2 E's, but if you want to go, I just want to know how many situations you've been in where you need to ask this question. Because I've never
okay.
thought about this.
Here's why I thought about it recently. It's
Okay.
because I play a lot of Hearthstone, right?
Okay.
I love Hearthstone. And
Nerd.
They put out a new
Nerd.
card.
You point and laugh at this nerd playing a card game on the internet.
Well, guess what? They put out a new card. It's called Bees with like 6 E's. It's all caps. It's got 3 exclamation marks. And I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah,
okay.
I saw that.
So this isn't just like a Discord meme, right? This is an actual major company printing an official
Blizzard.
card.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
it's Blizzard.
okay, so
Putting out Bees.
I think maybe they had, like, if you wanted the real answer to this, maybe you could go to, like, a linguistics expert, and they might actually be able to give
What?
you a real boy answer, but...
They're just gonna laugh
Friend
at
was
you.
studying
I think-
linguistics back in Indiana.
And I think if the Hearthstone devs, when making the card Bees with 6 E's, they might have tried putting, like, showing the card with different amounts of E's on them. So they could have had
that's
a development
genius.
version of the card where it had 12 E's, and then they were just like, yeah, that doesn't look right with the rest of the card, so we're just going to trim down the number of E's.
It would probably just look like E, because
Yeah.
there's so many. It's
Yeah.
balanced.
And at that point, you might as well call up Zuckerberg and be like, hey, we need
I mean,
you
in
on a
this
card.
case, though, it's like 5 or 6 E's. Because I don't remember. It's
you
not
don't
even
even
in the game yet.
remember the
Look, I could look it up. I
consequential
can look it
number
up,
of
but it's
E's?
not in the game yet. It was a pre-release
Yeah.
preview thing.
Mm,
The preview.
okay.
I mean, let me check it
For
out.
E
I'll pull it
view.
up.
I mean, so the cards in Hearthstone, because I used to play.
Brr,
it
brr,
as-
brr, brr.
I used to play it as well, and
Oh, it only has 4. There's only 4
You're welcome,
E's,
Sophia.
which means
you,
there's
John.
4 E's and 5 other characters in the title.
wait,
So
what?
like that's pretty balanced.
5 other characters in the what?
Yeah, a B, an S, and 3 exclamation points.
Oh, 3 exclamation points. I was wondering where all the other letters were coming from. But also, exclamation points are pretty thin. Like, they're not thick, you know? They're not dummy thick. So, you gotta take that into account. Whereas E's are actually kind of thick. You know, they've got, like, decent
Yeah, I
width.
mean they take up the majority of the title.
Yeah.
But they're also like fairly balanced because like they're the center, but you can still tell where the word is, right?
Yeah. I think it'd
funny.
probably be based on how big or small they wanted the text to be, because like that's the thing with the Hearthstone cards is that they only have a certain size
Yeah.
that is for all
Yeah.
cards for how much space or like for the that you can squeeze the text into, and so if it's more words, you have to make the text smaller. So they probably didn't want to make it super small for bees because that's a very short word, but they also wanted to communicate that it is a lot of bees, or like an alarming amount of bees, I'm assuming, because of the
Terrifying.
cards to play with.
amount of
Startling.
Yeah.
Truly
So
startling.
they decided to fill up the card space with an appropriate number of E's so that it didn't shrink the size of the letters, while
Mhm.
also
Mm.
explaining the urgency of the number of B's that are
You know,
about to pop out.
That's a very scientific and well thought out explanation.
Yeah. You know,
I
we
think
here
anyone could buy
at
into
Horsin
that.
Around, we are 100% scientists. Just not
Of
science.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
Only science,
Yeah.
only facts.
You know, before I say anything at all, I go through the entire scientific method just
Yeah.
to make sure that my point makes sense. You know, I'm sure you guys are doing the same, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a constantly
Of course,
running
yeah.
process in my head.
That's why I looked up bees just to make sure.
There you go. You're fact checking yourself. That's good journalism right there. Journalism
Yeah.
and scientific. 2 in 1.
Easy.
Scientific journal. Bow.
Yeah, there you go.
Brr, brr, brr.
Well, I'm glad we put that mystery to bed for you, so you now understand.
Good.
Yeah,
the
glad I
know
amount-
this.
the number of E's that should go into any E's declaration. Let's see. What does it mean to be a normie in 2019? Where did that one come from?
Okay, so this one's because we call Dylan a normie at work.
Mainly one person does that at work, and everyone
Yeah,
else
I
has
know
kind of
that.
how it
stopped.
started. It's just there was something about
Yeah.
a scale between like the Chad and Virgin meme
Oh,
where
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
No,
5
so-
was normie and everyone gave Dylan a 5.
Well, no. What it was number 1 was like incel, and then 10 was Chad,
Yeah.
and then this one coworker of ours placed me at a 4.9.
I
And
feel
I
like
said,
you weigh far
why in
more
the
towards
world?
Chad than incel.
That's what I was saying. I was like, why in the
Like,
world have you
you're
put
not
me
even
at
close to an incel.
0.9?
Yeah, that's
He's
pretty
like, well,
insulting. There's a reason that point 1
right.
was taken away from you.
That's what I was trying to say. So I was like, what are you trying to say about me? He's like, well, you're right in the middle. You're a normie. So I
Yeah,
said to
no,
him,
the incel with a social life who exercises every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just he doesn't
Right.
socialize enough. Like there's a little gap where if he socialized a little bit more, he'd be a total 5. But because he just misses that one bit of socialization, that's probably
Right,
like the
right.
CSH part of you that drags you down a little bit.
oh,
And
good.
Yeah,
so-
you're like programming like some sort of nerd.
Yeah,
What
so
a-
that brings you
what a
down to
weeb.
that brings
What
you
a
down to a
nerd.
4.9.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
You gotta get back into hiking club and like get on that, and then you can rise back up to a 5. You could even go to a 5.1. I think.
Oh fuck,
Ooh.
Dylan. That's what you've always wanted.
Exactly.
That's huge.
To argue in favor of Dylan, what time were you planning to get up to run so we could go to the beach at 8 a.m. on Saturday? What time,
5
Dylan?
o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Christ.
I'm putting this man at like a 9.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be a great run. If anyone wants to join me, I know this podcast isn't live, but tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m., Somerville, Massachusetts. Come run 6 miles with me. It's gonna be great.
Whoa! Don't dox us, man. Don't dox. No doxing.
Doxing you in real life, just come to the run and like trip you over, like
I've been doxed.
Just punching you in the face behind a Taco Bell, right? That's the goal.
fucking some Danny DeVito ass motherfucker comes over and knocks you down and just you've been doxed.
Are you saying that God is Danny DeVito?
No, it's the way that
Do you have
just-
any complaints about that? Because I don't.
I don't know,
I'd be
Sophia,
fine
the
with
way
that.
that you just said I'm being doxed just sounded like Danny DeVito to me. So I just wanted to capitalize on that.
Thank you.
I would be fine with worshiping Danny DeVito. You know,
Yeah.
like he's an interesting guy. It's kind of like worshiping a troll, but.
I'd say more like a goblin, like little goblin.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe like the odd love child of a troll and a goblin,
I can see
and
that.
also God.
And also
Yeah.
The
God.
immaculate love child.
A really sweet 3-way.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
But
Ew.
ew,
Troll,
wow.
goblin,
Love
and
is
God
love,
walks
Dylan.
into a
Hold
bar.
on, hold
Please
on,
check
hold
yourself.
on. Hot take, hot question.
Okay.
3-way? Question mark?
What is?
Right
What?
now,
What?
Dylan? I don't know.
First of all, there's 4 of us, so please learn to count.
No. My question is, what is everyone's opinions on 3-ways?
What do you mean?
I mean, if all
How the
parties
fuck
are
would we
into
know,
it, I
Dylan?
guess. But like, I mean, it's fine as long as I don't know. Once you get it, I guess like as a relationship thing, like long term, like polyamory, I'm a little bit sus about that. But
That's
like,
not necessarily
sure.
polyamory. Polyamory is being open to like actually dating other people. A 3-way is just sex.
right. Yeah.
Like
and
with
so,
2 people at the same time. Polyamory, they don't
Sure.
have to be connected.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think
I wanna-
strictly as a thing for 3-way is sex. I think that's fine.
I think I need to hear Dylan's side of this.
No, I don't have. I don't have any.
Dylan, you initiated
Something you
this-
want to tell us, Dylan?
You initiated this with a hot
Something
take
Marissa
alert,
wants to say?
so I just wanted to know why the hot take
This
was
looks-
alerted. What
This
was the
looks
hot
real
take
bad
part of
on
that?
me.
You're just
sorry.
out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
topic list, you're just like, so guys,
3-way?
No, it came up in conversation. I thought, wow, that'd be really interesting.
Dylan, this is
Talk
why
about.
you're a 4.9, alright? I'm sorry. This is why. You say
Okay,
things
I don't know, I
like
think
this.
that makes him more of a Chad. He brings up 3-ways into
No,
conversations.
but
where they work.
Chads know when to bring up 3-ways in the right context.
I think
Incels bring
I
up
think
the
he's
wrong-
trying to
It's a
convince us to have a.
podcast.
Wait,
Yeah,
that's
are
the
you
real
two
play.
convinced?
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm
We're trying to
convinced.
be
Let's go.
controversial.
Me, Marky, and Dylan. Let's go.
I said I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. You have not sold me on this 3-way at all. Your salesman skills are very poor.
I'm not trying to sell anyone on the 3-way. I'm not trying to sell anyone any sort of sexual.
Am I gonna have to add this to your
That's
list of
not what I'm
nicknames,
doing.
Dylan, where I call you the failed salesman of 3-ways?
Oh my god.
You already have Bonobo Orgy in between your first and last names.
What the fuck? Excuse me?
Yeah, we were talking at lunch about bonobos. I was like, yeah, they're pretty cool.
You
They're
mean
like the most
bonobos?
similar-
Like the monkeys?
Yes.
Bonobos, you're pronouncing them wrong.
No,
Get it
they're
right.
definitely bonobos. Fuck
No,
off.
they're definitely bonobos.
Nope. It's Bonobo. Corey, I say
I'm
so.
literally looking this up on Google right now.
Go for it, man. My little brother was obsessed with bonobos for like the first 4 years of his life. Like,
Oh, so yeah, a 4-year-old's pronunciation.
You gotta trust that.
But still.
If not that, then nothing else.
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
we were
I have
talking
no
about-
idea.
All right, hold on,
I don't
hold
even
on. Can we
this
pause for a
conversation.
second? You guys aren't gonna be able to hear it, but I'm just gonna play the pronunciation
Okay.
of this for the podcast. So just for the record, I'm gonna listen to it, and you guys can look it up on YouTube to fact check me, no matter which way it turns out.
Bonobo.
But I'm just gonna play it. and
Bonobo.
Let it play out. Okay, hold on. Silence. Hold on.
Bonobo.
Motherfucker.
You know, I heard it really clearly, and actually what it said was Bonobo.
It is what it said. That's why I said goddamn.
Right.
Hell yeah.
How did I?
Got him.
Where did
Nice,
I learn
Corey.
bot? I definitely heard it from some British person
It's,
on like.
yeah, it's an accent thing.
Yeah,
I've
100%.
heard that.
Bonobo.
I mean, Murky, like, if you're British, then, like, that's fine.
I am not a Britbong. Sorry.
I had no
But you're
idea,
a fucking
Nick. Oh my
idiot.
god.
Oi, governor, what's poppin'?
Oh god.
But yeah, the whole thing was we were at lunch talking about bonobos and how they're super like they're the closest living ape to humans, and how they act and like genetics and everything. And Dylan, what was it you said? Yeah,
Well,
no,
I
we
think
started
you
talking about
were-
the fact that bonobos just fuck all the time, which is true.
Exactly.
They basically are just in a permanent
Yes.
orgy state.
Yep. Yep. And so I
Um,
jumped in and said, "Oh yeah, I'd be there for that. Like that sounds fun."
Yeah, yeah.
Constantly
now I'll
DTF.
just yell at him across hallways like, "Oh, it's Dylan Bonobo Orgy Jackson." And,
Yep.
Yep, it's
And
great.
then some government official walks by and they kind of stare at me in an odd way.
Yep.
Why did we
Nice.
hire him?
Yeah.
You guys, they committed to that. They committed to you.
Exactly.
They sign on to this when they ask for RIT students, like a shit ton of them. So like,
Yeah.
Honestly, the Bonobo Orgy is pretty tame
yeah,
compared to most
they
RIT
know what
Yeah.
they're getting into with RIT
Oh,
students.
God.
This is nothing. Nothing.
They
Compared to
don't know
people
what they
at
get into
threesomes,
with
my
CSH
goodness.
students. They didn't expect 4 of you to show up.
Wait,
Yeah.
4? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about the people here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was like,
also,
there's 3 of
they
us
got
here
2
right now.
last year, right? They had you and
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Jack actually worked there before he even came to college, though. So like he
Actually?
was, he
Oh,
was
really?
in the system
Oh,
before then. Yeah.
he's one of those guys.
What?
Okay.
I actually just
Yeah,
had dinner with
that
Jack
guy who had
in
work.
Boston suddenly.
Oh, nice.
I just he just showed up and it was
And
Devin
suddenly,
and
a
Devin and
wild
Jack
Jack
talking
appears.
about murky stories from being his roommate.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
God, I
Yeah.
have so many roommates that can tell roommate stories about me because I've
Yeah,
had
they
like
gave the
5 billion
context for the
roommates.
vagina story. It was really good.
Okay, the
Yeah,
vagina
way better with
story
context.
isn't even a roommate story. That is literally just a me story that just happened to spread around floor.
Yeah, but it's
Wait,
so perfect with
hold on.
context. Like,
I don't know what that story is.
it's
Okay.
oh, you don't know the drawings?
Oh yeah.
It's a
Dude.
tradition.
Oh,
Classics.
that. Okay.
Yeah, that
yep,
started
yep,
with
I
Murky.
am
Yeah.
very familiar with that.
I was so surprised
job,
that
Murky.
AJ did that like on his own volition, completely unrelated to my vagina drawings. Like so people just
I don't
had
think
him
it was
do that.
entirely unrelated. It was still prompted by Devin.
Okay. Oh well then.
Devin's done
yeah,
it every
okay,
year.
That was
it was
probably connected
you
to
and
that
then Tino and then AJ.
Ew.
Yeah, so we've got 3 years running now. Now we got to get one of the incoming frosh to just draw a very accurate diagram of.
There'll
Nice.
always be
human
someone at
vagina.
RIT who doesn't know what a vagina.
It's not that I don't know what a vagina looks like. Is that I?
You thought
I
it looked like
wouldn't-
the Demigorgon from Stranger Things, my
It
guy.
kind of does,
no,
Corey.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, that is incorrect. All right, somebody is fucking telephoning this shit incorrectly. All right.
It looks like
Telephoning-
the
I was
monster
talking
in
to
Tales from the
Devin.
No,
Borderlands.
what the
the
origin of
skags.
this was is
No.
that, so we were watching Stranger
rat
Things
guy.
at the time, but however, when there was a point in the show, this was season 1, when they crawl through, like they're in the upside. They're in the real world and they go to the
Yep.
upside down, and the way they go
Yeah.
to the upside down is through this like
A
weird.
vagina.
No, it's a
Yeah.
hole. It's a hole in a tree that's like
I
all
was-
weird and fleshy because that's how the upside down like portals look or whatever. And so as they were going through that, I was like, haha, that looks like a vagina. And then Maddie stopped.
Mooney.
Yeah, Maddie stopped the video, turned to me, and handed me a piece of paper and a Sharpie. It was just like, hey, draw a vagina for us real quick. And then I did. and it wasn't 100% accurate. I'll say that, but I still got the
You're
general.
right.
I got the general shape correct, and I think I got the positions of the clitoris versus the urinary tract correct. I think I put.
You did a lot better than AJ.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yours was pretty good.
Thank you.
But
I drew a little Letty
Yeah.
face right in the middle because I thought it would be funny. But yeah, classic.
Classic. Wow.
Classic. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what else. What else we got? Oh,
Good thing we
sorry.
stopped talking about
Lauren,
threesomes.
what does it mean? We didn't even answer the original question. What does it mean to be a normie in 2019? What does it mean to be a normie in 2019?
Dylan.
Don't go to RIT.
Fuck you, Corey.
Yeah, that's actually about right.
Well, you've already tried, Dylan. Be a threesome.
It does say normie on my desk in multiple places, so I guess so.
Does.
Oh god.
I'd like to point out I'm currently sitting in the living room of my house, and I'm looking into my room, and my PC is still blue screened.
Nice.
It has a
Oh
cover.
no.
I'm getting worried.
Are you
Concerning.
just on your phone right now?
No, I'm on a laptop.
Oh, okay.
I like hurriedly pulled it out of my backpack. It's a good thing I was working from home.
Mm.
Yeah. Wait, is this the miter laptop?
No, but I wouldn't have my laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise.
I was gonna say you said,
Yeah,
you said
jeez.
working from home, and I'm just like, you're not actually discording on fucking miter.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
could totally
say.
get away with that.
Buddy.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yikes.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know how to answer that question though. I mean,
That's fine.
I think it's just memeing on Dylan. Like,
Yeah.
It was just a meme on me.
fair enough.
The one that I'm interested in to switch topics is how to tell if your friend is an alcoholic.
Why?
In a-
Okay.
in a
okay,
comical
so you
sense.
look at them and you're like, is this person tall, white, has blonde hair that's swept up? They either wear
Is
formal
this-
wear to work or formal wear all the time. Their name's it ends with an N. It's either Dylan or Devin.
Holy shit! Is this an intervention right now? What the fuck?
This is actually just a huge meme that every time we go to parties, we call Dylan and Devin alcoholics, and then they drink less than us.
Okay. All right.
Except Dylan. Dylan drinks more than us.
I'm a little confused. Is it a meme or is it not a meme?
No,
You'll never know.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
pretty certain it's just a meme. I mean,
Pretty sad.
I would hope so. I don't know. At Corey?
I don't know, mate. You think I'm a good judge of being an alcoholic or not? I started drinking like 6 weeks ago.
Fuck. Well,
What a pro.
congratulations.
We don't endorse underage drinking on Horsin Around.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm 22 for reference.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
I'm
drink. I'm 20.
24.
Sophia, wait, are you not 21 yet? Still?
No, I turned 21 in October.
Oh shit, we're gonna get fucking smashed,
Wait.
alright?
As long as you get me some Mike's Hard Strawberry
I
Lemonade.
cannot believe that you fell in love with that drink. That is such a you drink.
I don't drink.
Look, also though, cider is my jam. When we were in Ireland, my mom was like, drink a cider with every meal, Sophia.
I mean, ciders just taste good. Like, it doesn't
Ciders
taste
are
like
pretty
shit,
good.
so yeah.
Wait, hold on. At Sophia, when's your
Mixhard.
birthday? 'Cause I'm also
October
turning
7th.
21. Oh my god, I'm the 6th.
Wait, what?
Yes!
Dylan, you're older than me
Yeah, my
by a day.
Okay.
I did.
Dylan!
Wait, Dylan,
Birthday twins.
you're not turning 21, are you, Dylan?
I am.
Oh my god!
Birthday
2-night
twins,
combo!
Dylan.
I know!
Dude,
Let's
alright.
do it.
You're gonna
Oh my
become an
gosh.
alcoholic, okay? You're gonna
Who?
fucking-
He already is.
Dylan.
What do you mean become?
Oh.
If Dylan's not an alcoholic right now, and you guys are accusing
But
him of
Nick,
it,
if I can
Hold
just buy Mike's Hard whenever I want,
yeah, damn,
Uh-oh.
you're gonna.
Yikes.
Nobody's gonna be able to stop you, Sophia.
Rip your
give me
career.
all the pink drinks.
I mean,
Hold
there's
on,
like
I
a
don't-
shit ton of mixed drinks that you could do and just have pink
Oh, yeah.
food dye in them and just.
I
drink them.
know.
So
I know.
you can just have any good
just-
tasting thing that is also
Yeah.
pink.
Pink.
Just to comment on this whole alcoholic joke, I have no idea where it's coming from. I'm definitely not going to supply evidence that I am an alcoholic in the upcoming sentences. However,
However,
if you've heard throughout the podcast, there has been some ice clinking on my end of the mic.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Dylan!
it's a legal beverage for your age, right, Dylan?
Of course, it's a legal beverage.
I'm
Yeah,
drinking
He's
what is
also
it? Oh,
22.
grape juice.
24.
I have a juice box.
Nice,
Did you
nice,
forget
close,
what
yeah.
grape
Wait.
juice is for a moment?
No, okay. So what I had to do
Wine.
for a recipe, I was making. No, it's not. I had to buy wine for a recipe, but I
It's
can't
grape
buy
juice
wine.
recipe,
So I
it's wine
bought
for
grape
Dylan.
juice boxes because I didn't want to buy a full container of grape juice. So I bought little juice boxes, and I used the juice box in my recipe that called for white wine. So now I have a lot of juice
What the-
boxes.
Wow.
Oh,
That's a lot.
my
Yeah, that's my
Wow.
story.
That
Anyways.
is-
Very cool
Hi-yo.
story time. Just put that. We're
Thanks.
gonna put it up on YouTube. It's gonna get 1 million views. Easy.
Thank you.
Sophia's juice box.
Story time. Oh my
Juice
God.
box
Oh,
is,
boy.
Juice box is. Yeah.
bro.
Wow.
Can't forget the others.
Yeah, except I only have one.
Oh,
Never
Mm.
mind.
Anyway.
Wait, why'd you
Just
correct
my-
me?
Okay. Sorry, there's something on my laptop. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Oh, wait. That's a fairly related question.
Mhm.
Does drinking while doing homework increase your productivity, specifically with programming?
Almost certainly not. Although I do remember
Fascinating.
Brandon Hudson talk about how he, whenever he was coding drunk, he would turn on, like he would make sure to flip on this variable that he called Mr. Krabs. And so whenever he woke up in the morning and saw commits pushed to whatever repo he was working on, and he saw the Mr. Krabs variable set to true, he knew that he did some fuck shit. So maybe
Okay.
maybe it does increase your productivity. I don't know. He sounded like he did a lot of stuff while, while intoxicated. If he had to make a specific variable to
Oh,
account for
God.
him while intoxicated and coding.
Wow.
So,
That's
maybe.
fascinating.
but no scientific evidence to prove on this one. We'll have to do some more research. I'll get back to you on that one.
Thank you
Mm.
very much.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Dylan tries it out regularly, so
No,
we
he
could
doesn't,
just take a
because he's
study
not
of him.
21. I'm the only
Yeah,
one
of course.
legally capable
That's right,
of experimenting
Corey.
on this. So-
Actually, I hate to say it, but we've been faking the whole time. Nick is the only one here who isn't old enough to drink. I am
Yeah.
actually 22, so is Dylan.
can't bamboozle me like
24.
this.
I live in Europe, so I'm good.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Drinking age is fucking, what, 16
I actually
in
live on
Germany?
the moon, and because that's in international waters, they can't enforce anything.
That's,
Exactly.
that's
We're
not how that
actually on a
works.
boat right now.
There is
Maritime law.
yeah.
That's
But
fake.
maritime law doesn't apply if they can't catch me.
Yeah,
That
I'm on the
applies
moon.
even if you're in this country. Like, I don't.
No, the ocean
Yeah.
isn't a country.
I'm
Maritime
on the
law
moon.
is when
Do
nothing
you know how
applies.
hard it
The
is to
ocean
get a
isn't
Discord
actually
signal
real.
out from the moon?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
God, I
So
wish I
hard.
knew. That'd be fucking dope. Staring down and be like, I can
Well, I
see
mean-
all of you guys from here.
I mean, I'm gonna run out of oxygen in like 2 hours, so I don't know how dope it is, but you know, it's fine.
Bro,
Oh, it's dope.
Just jump back
Dope, bro.
into Earth's atmosphere and then just
Oh,
fall
shit,
back to
you're
Earth.
right.
You'll get more oxygen.
yeah, yeah.
Easy.
I'll go do some like squats to ready up.
Do you
Right.
even squat, bro? Don't skip leg day. That's why you
Don't
need
skip
it.
leg day, or you won't be able to escape the moon.
Yeah. You need to get
Oh my
escape,
God.
escape velocity so you can get off the moon
Yeah.
and back to Earth. Easy as
Mm.
pie.
Yeah.
I would love to
Wow.
live on the moon. Actually, would
Would
I?
you?
We talked
I
about
don't
we
think
talked
so.
about this on the previous podcast. Maybe I would, but I think
Oh,
going to
wow.
the moon would be pretty damn neat. You know,
Huh.
Yeah.
overall,
Oh, for
pretty
sure.
neat experience.
It's not for that long.
Pretty neat.
What am I gonna do there?
Yeah, that's
You
the
know,
problem. Like,
Pick up some
suffocate.
rocks. Just
Eh.
wave a white
Okay.
flag that's left from when we planted one there 60
Well,
years ago or whatever.
I mean,
Eh.
it's pretty much the same thing as RIT. Like on the moon, there's only rocks. At RIT, there's only
There's
bricks.
only bricks.
Like we basically at RIT live on the moon. if you
I think
about
there's
it.
more women on the moon than at RIT.
I believe it. On the dark side of the moon, dude, so many girls.
Oh, sick. That's a whole
And
ass
they're-
party
and
over
they're
there.
not-
That's
and
why
they're
they're
not
hiding
real
it.
performance. They're real girls. No grills.
Mm.
Only girls.
Oh. No grills. How are they gonna make food?
Well,
Aw.
are you
Go to
saying that
Gracie's.
women are the only ones that can make food? Are you telling women to keep in the
Yikes.
kitchen right now? That's big yikes, bro. Current year.
I was more implying grills, but you know what? You take your.
Oh boy.
Bruh.
Oh dear.
Bruh,
Oh.
bruh, I'm putting Murky on like a 2 on the incel scale.
Oh my. Don't do me like this. Don't do me dirty like that, alright?
Oh,
I'm at
my.
least I work out, so can I at least be promoted to a 3?
Impossible.
I don't know. I mean,
Impossible.
Can you reach escape velocity?
Can I?
You
I'm working
skip
on
leg
it.
day.
All right, I'm working on it. I'm getting.
All right, if you're working on it, I'll put you at a 2.5. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you better show me what you can do.
All
Like,
right,
you can't just,
I'll show
can't
you.
just cop out there.
When we come back to
Well-
school, I'll show you what's up.
Oh, all right, bet.
So
Oh,
one,
yeah.
You better go into low Earth orbit.
I guess one last topic that sort of relates to this moon talk before we wrap up, I guess, is one I put in. Do you guys think we're alone in this universe? Do you think there's some? This came up because I was reading all the fucking Area 51 memes and
Oh my God.
talking about
Well,
aliens
have
and
you
stuff.
seen Star Wars?
No, I haven't, Sophia. Could you
And
tell
that
me
was in the
about Star
past,
Wars?
Nick. That happened thousands of years ago.
Sophia, could you tell me about Star Wars? I've never heard of it before.
It's this documentary.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay, actually, I stole that. I stole that from Disney's Land of Pandora, where they refer to the Avatar movie as a documentary. All the employees there, they call it the documentary. They're like, "Have you seen our documentary about the Navi and Jake
Do
Sully?"
they say it as documentary every single time?
The documentary.
No.
No,
I'd have an
No,
aneurysm.
so- Star Wars is this documentary.
Uh-huh.
And it tells us how aliens were created.
Okay. So are the human aliens in those movies, are those actually aliens, or are those just predecessors to us?
Well, yeah, because the reptilians have this planet, so we're like the aliens who came from
What
there.
do you mean the reptiles have this planet?
Do you not know what
do you mean we
reptilians
don't?
are,
I mean,
Nick?
reptilians don't.
No, I
You don't know the reptilian conspiracy theory?
Okay. I
You
know
don't?
No, I
Similar-
know
similar
of
to the
that
bird?
theory.
The
I didn't
basic
think that's
premise
where
of the reptilians is that they're these reptile people who live in the Earth's core, and they were here first, and we came and took this planet from them, and so they live among us in society, hiding
We're
themselves,
awful.
ready to take it back someday.
Is that Star Wars canon? Is that like the people of Coruscant who are like basically the humans in Star Wars? Isn't that what they're called?
That's a lot of planets that have humans, Nick.
What are they called? What is that race called, or what is that species called in Star Wars lore? Because
Which
they're not just
one?
called humans, are they?
I think they are.
Oh wow.
They're
They just
aliens.
Fucking ripped us off. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. How could they be aliens but also human? Humans aren't aliens. We're the
To
center of
other
the universe.
aliens, yes.
No, we're the center of the
To the
universe.
reptilians,
Alien,
yes.
alien simply means foreign. That's
Yes,
it.
exactly.
So it's completely relative.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound right to my limited viewpoint.
Well, because you haven't seen Star Wars,
Stop
the
being
documentary.
ignorant right now.
Okay.
Oh boy.
That's fair. So you think that Star Wars is a completely accurate documentary? and-
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here drawing my Star Wars character riding a velociraptor, and it's pretty good.
What?
That sounds like
Nick,
a
I wanna
good way
see
to
that.
live. That sounds like a
Yeah.
pretty primo way to live. Not gonna
Thank
lie.
you.
Um,
It's
Fucking love
pretty A+.
Velociraptor.
They have velociraptor mounts.
Whoa.
It just cause they just
Yeah.
have it.
I mean, wouldn't you want a velociraptor?
I guess it's just a
mount? I
raptor,
would.
not a Yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
Mine is very cute.
Well,
Yeah, like,
Anyways,
can
that's
you
my
get a
life.
raptor?
What?
Get like a fucking Utah raptor, one of the big boys.
I don't know if you could ride that. That seems like massive.
They have some. You can ride a rancor in it.
Oh, okay. That is.
Yeah, I mean, if you can ride that, Utah raptors.
You can get a
are
rancor
70.
mount and ride it around.
that is truly massive.
It's insane.
Oh, Julie's calling me.
Oh my.
Like,
Well,
right now.
I think knowing that there is a game where you can ride a Utah Raptor as a Star Wars character with a lightsaber, it's a pretty good place to stop. So glad we
Yeah.
answered that question. We're definitely not alone in the universe, and you will be able to ride your Velociraptors very soon.
Yeah,
Once they.
I do it every day.
So, thanks for joining us.
Oh, shit.
See you next time.
You're in
All right.
outside
Adios.
my house, like right now.
So long.